Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Cuenca, Ecuador, and the spiritual significance of the New Year's traditions. Now, my first New Year's I spent in this city. I had been living in Peru, and I traveled here to renew my visa, and my children and I stayed in a hostel downtown, and we participated in some of the activities, but I didn't understand most of the traditions, and to be honest, there's still a couple I don't understand, and in coming years I will figure it out, and I'll mention it to you when I do on the show. But 4 days ago, I noticed more of the significance, spiritually speaking, in a lot of the traditions, and I wanted to share that with you and how you can incorporate some of these traditions in your life during January, this first week of the year. I think you're going to enjoy some of these. So basically, for weeks before New Year's happens, a lot of people will make paper mache dolls or statuettes, and other people make effigies out of pieces of cardboard or things that they don't need. Sometimes there's wood, and they surround it with fabric, and they dress these dolls to look like adults or children, and they put all their old clothes on it. And this reminds me of something that my friend Clifton told me a long time ago. He was upset that his girlfriend had brought him some clothes from a coworker's husband, and she didn't understand, like, why? You know, these are pretty nice clothes. He said, yeah, they're nice clothes, but the thing is, they didn't want them. They didn't want them because they're old problems. Old clothes always represent old problems. So I was thinking about that as I bought my little child-sized effigy to burn. And I was thinking that, yeah, these are kind of old clothes. And they didn't want them anymore. They didn't need them. And when you're shedding your old clothes, and if you burn them, that's significant because you're burning your old problems, right? Well, people spend their time making these effigies, but they also, a lot of people will sell them for extra money right at the beginning of the new year, or at the end of the new year, as it were. And then they also sell masks, and a lot of times they're masks of monsters or demons or of political figures. I'm not going to lie, I actually did put a Donald Trump mask on my effigy, which is why I bought the boy child-sized one and not the adult-sized one. Because it's a problem I just don't want to think about. I want to burn it and leave it behind. If you're a Trump supporter, my apologies right now, but it's just how I feel. And it's all in good fun. So what people do in addition to making these effigies is they'll write a list. They'll take a little piece of paper and they'll write a list of all of the things that they wish to let go of from the past year. Now, the first time I did this with my children, I had, about 6 pages. 6 pages worth of things I wanted to forget about, the things I wanted to not only forget, but just leave behind, all of my old problems. Because I had never done this before, and this is a form of expressive arts therapy, even if they don't mention that here, that's really what it is. And you could do this too. You can go ahead and write down all the things you wish to leave behind. Then you say a little prayer and you just catch it on fire. I don't recommend this in your house. I do recommend you maybe taking this outside and burning it in the street away from your house. Maybe go to a little park and burn it in a barbecue or something, because there's something significant in fire. It's a purification. And unfortunately, we've had fires in Malibu and in Paradise, where I raised my kids for 10 years. I left there about 5 years ago, but fire is a purification, and it is one of the ways that the earth cleanses itself. And there's no reason why we can't use this element when it's self-contained, to help get rid of some of our problems, So people put lists of the bad things they want to let go of inside these effigies. And when midnight happens, everyone blows up fireworks and shouts and screams and hugs each other and says, Happy New Year. Then we start the new year by burning all of the old year's problems. The fires always start right after midnight. And I mean, this whole city is on fire. And it's a complete and utter chaos, to be honest with you. You pour gasoline on all your effigies, and if you have enough people who brought effigies for the day, it looks like a pile of bodies, and you just catch them on fire, and you're like, those are not ours anymore. And at the same time, we blow off fireworks. Now, not only is fire purifying, but also the smoke is purifying, and there are throughout the world many purification rites involving fire and also smoke. If you've ever sat in a sweat lodge, or you've ever burned sage like the Native Americans do, or incense the way people in India do, and you cover your body with it, and it just kind of floats away all of your stress, all of your problems. And then you can also use this as a prayer. And in Native American tradition, when you say a prayer to the fire has the smoke, and the smoke carries it up into the sky, where it is brought to the Great Spirit. And therefore you feel transformed. You've made an action. So you could do this. You could, make a little tiny fire out of your piece of paper. You don't have to build a whole statue and burn it. Not sure that's legal most places. It's only legal here to do on the New Year's. I think the day before New Year's, there's like 2 or 3 days in which fireworks are actually legal here in Cuenca. It's not something people do all the time. For birthdays once in a while, but I think what they do is they gather them up from the New Year's, and then they keep them until their birthday, because it's hard to find. It is really, really hard to find fireworks the rest of the year here. And a lot of people have said, no, we can't even legally sell them until the New Year's again, 3 days before the New Year's, and that's it. Anyway, fireworks are a way of blowing up your old energy, and it's a way to add beauty to your life while blowing up the old energy. And the loud crack or booms that you hear with fireworks, that is a way to shock you. The loud noise shocks you into yourself. You get out of your mind, you get out of your head, and you are in the moment. And it brings a point of mindfulness. So if you're not someone who has fireworks on hand, who is, you can always turn on a video on YouTube of fireworks and imagine that all of your problems are blowing up. And what remains is a memory of the beauty of the firework itself, which also helps you become more mindful. So another thing about the fires is another thing, actually, I forgot to mention, not only do they write lists of the bad problems, they also write lists of the good things they wish to see in their lives. So that is a tradition. It's an Ecuadorian tradition. And in Cuenca, the Cuencanos do this also. And my kids and I have participated in this as well. we write all the things we want. In fact, for me, I just speak it to the fire. I think next year I'll probably write a separate list and burn it separate from my effigy. But you either speak or write down a list of the good things you want, because again, the smoke will carry your prayers to heaven. And the act of writing it down, speaking it out loud, your words have power. You have power. If you don't know this already, you are made in the likeness and image of God. I know you've heard of this, but it's true. You have power. You are a powerful spiritual being having a human experience, as you are aware. So fire is very powerful. The smoke is very powerful. So another thing that happens here in Cuenca when the fires are about halfway down, or they're very kind of maybe a foot off the ground, people jump over the fire. And this year I got a picture of my friend Jordan and his wife Patty holding hands and jumping over the fire together. They have just gotten married, and for a married couple to do this is a way to get rid of any problems they had in the past. It purifies their relationship, and it also strengthens them, because it's a trust exercise, isn't it? It's to jump over a fire. I don't know if I recommend you actually starting a fire and jumping over it, but you could do this in your own life if you burn a candle and you jump over the candle, because it's the psychological change that takes place inside of you that creates the spiritual change as well. So this is something that you could integrate into your own life. And like I said, we're still in January, and this is still the beginning of the new year. So what do you want over the next 12 months? You have to think about that, but ask for the good things, get rid of the bad things, burn the bad things, and you could even jump over a little candle, and that will bring you the purification. So people generally will jump over the fire. Again, the smoke purifies their aura. It's a cleansing ritual. The fire just cuts you. It burns your ties to the past. So that is the spiritual significance of that. Now, after the smoke clears, and well, it takes a while. I mean, you could tell it's still in my throat. Yesterday in my show, I mentioned that I had eaten wheat, and after I was finished recording the show, I'm like, oh, actually it was the fires. It took a couple days for the smoke to clear, and I had been outside running around and breathing in all that smoke. In Ecuador, in the Constitution, nature has rights, but one day a year is when this fire is allowed to occur, and it occurs on every street corner. There's fires everywhere. And basically, it's the one time when nature I don't know if it upsets nature or not, but it's the one time in which the air itself is not pure. But it does clear the air, so to speak, from all the humans. And I think overall that actually does good for the nature as well. So right after all of this is done, when most of the fires have died down, when most of the the smoke is cleared, the fireworks are done, the fires themselves that were on the ground are cleared, what happens then is the families will go back in their homes. I had the great privilege of being with my friend Patty's family. My youngest son and I went, and we all sat down together. We had dinner together before the fireworks, and then afterwards we sat down to have dessert. But before the dessert, before we sat down, the mother went around and she handed everybody, she had a huge bowl of cherries. What a wonderful way to start the new year, a bowl full of cherries. And we are in summer down here, so this isn't something you could do right now. But you could buy frozen cherries. You could buy any kind of fruit, actually. Any fruit that will bring you sweetness of life. starting the new year with something pure, beautiful, and sweet like that is very significant spiritually, because it reminds you. You can consciously, you be mindful of this, consciously remind yourself, I deserve sweetness, you deserve sweetness. We're all going to have something beautiful and sweet together. So we had the cherries, and when we're done with the cherries, the whole family got together, and were given a shot glass of mulled wine that was heated. So we started the year off with warmth. We started the year off with sweetness, and we toasted to the new year. Even the kids, the wine had been boiled, so there's no alcohol in it. And everybody toasted to the new year, and we all drank our shots together. And that created a sense of unity and joy and happiness. And it just kind of brought to me the idea of the wine of the mystics. You know, it's significant. It's our connection to God, and a little bit to the god Dionysus, I must say. But it's a frivolity and the joy. Not everyone in Cuenca is alcohol free. In the last 2 years, I have actually, at the end of the fireworks and everything, everyone runs around through the streets and they hand you beer or aguardiente, which is a drink here, just different things, but mostly it's beer or whiskey, and people hand you a shot or they'll share their beer with you. And I have gone dancing in clubs and dancing in front of churches on street corners, you know, basically where they turned it into a makeshift party where hundreds of people that don't even know each other are suddenly dancing together. So after the smoke is cleared and the fires and you've eaten your sweets to bring sweetness to your life, you dance. And when you dance, you are shaking off the old energy, you're raising your vibration, you're singing, you're laughing, you're dancing, and you're communing with other people. You could do this by yourself too. This is another thing that you can do and implement in your own life to bring more sweetness and joy, raise your vibration, and just get going, man. Shake that booty. Have fun and enjoy your life. So in the South, in the U.S., we always, in the past, had eaten black-eyed peas for the new year. And that's something you can do too, to bring sustenance and to your life. I always made mine a little fiery with little serrano peppers, but I grew up in California, even though my whole family is from the South. So that's another tradition. It's not too late. Don't think it's too late. You know, we're not at the end of this first week of January. You could still eat your black-eyed peas if you forgot. Go ahead. You've got my permission. So make sure that you bring warmth, sweetness, joy, togetherness, and love into your new year. And with this, there's one thing I did forget. I don't know if you want to do this part. This is very strange. There's 3 more things about Cuenca I did forget to say. If you want abundance in the new year, you wear yellow underwear. If you want to wear green, I think that might be okay as well. And if you want love in the new year, you wear red underwear. So maybe you might want to do that for one day. You don't have to tell anyone. Shh, I'm not telling anybody. But go ahead, wear red underwear. And maybe you want to wear red and green underwear if you want love and money in the new year. And if you want to have more ambition, yellow is also for that. Another thing that they do here is they give money to strangers. When we were going up the mountain, there was a rope going across the road, and they would not let us pass until we gave them money. It was all in good fun. I think we gave them 40 or 50 cents. It wasn't, a massive amount of money, but the idea is give money to strangers, share your abundance. It's always going to come back to you. That's good karma. And the stranger that we gave this to, and I don't 100% understand this tradition in Cuenca. It's a man dressed as a woman with a skirt and a button-up white shirt, and I didn't see his shoes. I don't know if he was wearing high heels, but I have seen men just completely full on in drag, and they wear a mask of a woman and a long wig to represent that they're a woman, and they wear a red shawl. And I don't know if that's supposed to be like the significance of a widow, so you're giving money to someone less fortunate, or if you're supposed to be kind to women. I mean, no matter what you read into this, because right now it's all speculation. I haven't ever truly gotten an explanation for this one, but that is really interesting. And I think that spiritually this could be significant for everybody on the planet. What if during this week or this month you did give some money to strangers, to charity, and you don't know what they really look like, right? I mean, if these guys have their masks on, and it's almost like they're trying to trick you into believing they're women, and that's kind of a joke here. But at the same time, it's Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions, and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. Well, I don't know how to say this. Basically, they're trying to trick you, but at the same time, you are giving money to a stranger, and I think that is spiritually significant. So if you donate money to charity, you know it's going to come back to you, at least 20-fold, maybe 100-fold. So go ahead and donate to charity, even if it's $1 when you're going through the grocery checkout line, even if it's 50 cents, or if you could give more, 20, 30, 40 bucks, even $50 to charity. So basically, I want you to start your new year right. And once again, I wish you and your family and your friends a abundant, prosperous, beautiful new year. 2019 is going to be spiritually significant. We are rising up in Schumann resonance of the planet. You can look this up if you don't know what I mean. I will talk about it later on. The Schumann resonance of the Earth has always been hovering around 7.83 for decades. Sometimes it'll fluctuate, but in the past couple weeks, it's been hovering around 40 hertz, and it's gone up a couple times to 90 hertz. And what this means is we are physically, literally, scientifically at the bottom rung of the fifth dimension now. We are transcending this year. This is a very spiritually significant year, and we are ascending out of the material into the spiritual. So if you can implement anything I mentioned today into your your New Year's traditions, or just try it once, see if you like it, see how it can change you. And throughout the year, there's a lot of things that I mentioned today that may help you. You may call it magic or psychological ritual or expressive arts therapy. No matter what you call it, I know it's going to make you feel better. And this is what I wish for you: joy, sweetness of life, purification, and breaking off all ties to the past that no longer serve you because you don't need it. And shake that booty, get out there and dance, have a blast, laugh your ass off. And I hope you have a wonderful new year. I'm going to sign off for now, for real this time, and we'll see you soon. All right. Happy New Year. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.